Today we talk about Nintendo Direct news for the Switch 2. We talk about Severance and what we thought of the finale. And we talk about some Path of Exile updates. All this and more. This is Nerds with Mics.
Man, am I glad
Hello
we got
and
that intro figured out.
Yeah, until you interrupted me talking, and then we botched it anyways. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerds with Mics. My name's Travis.
My name's Jared.
See, that's the order of things, Jared. Anyways,
He'll get over it.
Yeah. So today we have it's gonna be probably a fairly quick episode. However, we do have some good news today. Today was the Nintendo Direct for Switch 2 announcement, which honestly, they kind of cooked this time. I was not expected. I mean, there's still a few things that I feel like they could have done that they chose not to, because at the end of the day, Nintendo gonna Nintendo. But we'll get into that. But yeah, and then obviously we haven't talked a whole lot about the Severance finale, which we'll give our overall thoughts on the finale, but we will not get into spoiler and deep talk about it because I don't want to ruin it for anybody quite yet. But before we get into any of the stuff that we're going to cover today, we always like to talk about what we have been up to. So, Jared, what have you been up to, good sir?
So since 2 weeks ago, whenever we were talking, still been playing Siege. Still can't get away from that. It's kind of sucking me back into it because now I just feel like I have to do better at that game. But we're getting there. Also, a show that I know Travis enjoys watching as well, The Rookie, has been really solid this season so far. Big fan of this season. Did you watch the newest episode, Travis?
No, I was actually just watching some this evening. I'm only on episode 4, so I'm catching up. I heard
Uh,
the finale just happened, right?
I don't know. Was it the finale? I don't think it might have
Oh,
been, but
I don't know, but they've only had 11 episodes so far this season. I've noticed each season seems to get shorter and shorter.
yeah, like this last episode was pretty solid. Well, the past two episodes have been pretty solid. So,
Yeah. I'm gonna
other than
watch
that, another
more
TV
tonight.
show. Oh, sorry. Yes, please do let me know your thoughts.
Okay,
Uh,
thoughts?
thoughts. Another show I've been watching, Reacher. For anybody who hasn't watched it, fantastic show.
I finished it.
I still need to finish it, but I have been playing. I'm kind of like you with The Rookie. I've been playing catch up. So,
Are you in the latest season though?
yes, latest season, just not caught up
It's
completely.
different.
It is, and I kind of well, we're probably far enough in we can talk about at least the first episode of Reacher,
Well, how
right?
far are you into it?
Probably about half, I think. Yeah, halfway sounds
Okay.
about right.
Have you got to the part where him and Polly, they don't like full on fight, but he gets like punched by Polly in the face, that big old dude?
Yes,
That's the
yes.
only time in this entire series that I saw a little bit of worry in his face.
Mm-hmm.
He
He's
got
just been so
rocked, son.
confident through the whole thing. It's been great.
Yeah,
But the first episode, Maddie and I were watching it together, and whenever he shoots the cop, Maddie and I were like, "There's no way that's the way they're starting this season." And then a
that's
little bit further in,
exactly what
you're
Amelia and we were like, if this is really true and he really shot a cop, I don't know how I already feel about this, but I feel like it's a setup.
yeah, and then you get like the next episode, and you're like, oh, "Okay, that makes a whole lot more sense now."
Yeah,
Other than that, Assassin's Creed is actually really good so far. I want to say feudal Japan really works for Assassin's Creed. I mean, people have been begging for it for a long time, but now actually getting to play it and experience it actually works really well with their kind of like RPG kind of mechanics they have going on with different gear and stuff like that.
the
Uh,
environments are really pretty, and I like the fact you can change the seasons. That's pretty cool.
it's really pretty, and the combat actually feels challenging, which I like. Because it's
Yeah,
not just like, oh, I can go through and just waylay everybody. Like if you go into a group of enemies, if you're not careful,
you
you'll
get
just
one
get hit.
shotted.
Yeah, you'll get hit with a red attack by a big guy, and it's just like, oh well, I'm dead now. So reload at last checkpoint, I guess.
Yeah, and I do like that there seems to be a pretty decent amount of varied enemy types as well, which I like. I don't know how far you played in, but I think I'm about 6 or 7 hours in, and I fought my very first shinobi, which is like me, and that was way different because they're very fast
Yeah,
and all over the place versus some of the other people that you kind of square off against. So it was very challenging. I will be curious to see once I eventually make it back to the samurai, what squaring off with like a shinobi versus him would be like. You know what I mean? Because he's much slower. You know?
Much tankier, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've said it before, and I know I said this the last time I was watching an anime, and I'm still not like the biggest anime person. However, Solo Leveling cannot recommend enough. Travis, if you haven't watched it, just give it a chance. It
Okay.
it is probably one of the best TV shows I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that
That's
good.
pretty bold. That's pretty bold since we were going to talk about Severance.
I said one of the best, not the best.
Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't say Severance is the best show ever made. And Justin might be here to, if he was here, he might fight me. But it's good. But I
Just
wouldn't
out of
say it's the
curiosity,
best
what
show I've
would you
ever
say?
seen.
What would you say is the best show ever made? You know my answer.
What, Lord of the Ring? No, uh, Game of Thrones.
No,
What is? Oh, Band of Brothers.
no, that's a mini series. I don't consider that North Heat V.
What is it? I'm curious.
Mash, dude.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Still,
Mash.
still
Yeah,
the
yeah.
number one watch finale or number one watch TV event ever in the U.S.
I think it just depends.
Well, I
Like
think it
I
lost to something here recently, but
Yeah, I can't necessarily say it's the best show. Like I can tell you what like my favorite what like some of my favorite shows are, but I don't know if I could tell you like the best show ever made. A
I
lot
mean,
of people
Breaking
would.
Bad's definitely up there.
I was gonna say a lot of people would say Breaking Bad's the best show that's ever been made, but I honestly have never seen Breaking Bad, so I can't talk about that.
Oh, that fills me with pain. I mean, it's one of those things, like you said, Band of Brothers. Like Band of Brothers is definitely up there for me, but it's a mini series.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's kind of where you have to
Same.
differentiate because same thing like Chernobyl
Yeah,
would definitely be up there because
I was gonna
Chernobyl's
say Chernobyl. If
fantastic.
that was the case, that would probably be the best because Chernobyl is amazing.
So
But yeah, it's a
depressing.
mini series. It really is, honestly. Yeah, I had
Uh,
to think about that because honestly, I really don't know, to be honest with you.
there's a lot out there, and it's
Yeah.
hard to make a decision. But the last thing I say before I pass it over to you is please find a way to watch Solo Leveling and give it a chance.
How many
Yours
seasons
big.
are there?
There are. It just finished up its second season.
Oh, okay. So it's a and how long was the seasons?
Oh, there were like 14 episodes, but the
Oh,
episodes are
that's
only
not
20
bad.
minutes long.
Oh yeah, that's an easy watch.
And like the thing is, like for as big of a nerd as you are, like you're similar to me in your nerdism, I guess. But like it, I don't want to say anything and ruin it. I just want you to go in blind, and
Okay.
I think you'll really like it, especially as much
I'm
as you
gonna
like Final Fantasy Online and Lord of the, or not Lord of the Rings, but World of Warcraft stuff like that.
I'm not sure how I'll be able to watch it if you want me to go into it blind. See what I did there? You just gonna see yourself out? Anyways, yeah, I'll check it out. I mean, I'm definitely open to watch new stuff, but I will have to catch up on the shows that I'm already behind on first before I do that.
Yep. And then, but
I,
other than that, that's all I've been up to. So, Travis, what about you?
so watch the Severance finale, which was pretty
Yeah,
good. Which was pretty good. Also watch Mythic Quest finale, which I know you still need to watch Mythic Quest.
I do.
I watched a show that I kept hearing about, and I ended up binging it in 2 days. It's only got one season, but it's called Paradise. It's on Hulu, and I will say, probably one of the strongest first seasons of a show I've ever watched that just hooked me. It was really good.
Paradise, you said?
Yeah, it's got Curly Sterling K. Brown in it, and it also has James
Oh,
Marston.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My dad was telling me about that. I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie, I'm 10 minutes into the first episode and
it's
haven't went
it's
back,
so
but
good. I was sold by the end of the plot twist that you see at the end of the first episode. It hooked me, and I was like, I have to know what's going on. Like
okay.
it's got kind of like that silo, like what's really going on, are things really as it seems? Is somebody pulling the strings? If so, who is it? Like it's very good. You should definitely at least commit to watching to the end of the first episode. And if you're not hooked by the end of the first episode, then it might not be for you, but it's really good.
Got it. All right.
All right. But yeah, watch that. It's only I think 8 episodes, but they're like 50-minute episodes. But yeah, I watched it over the course of 2 days. I was in deep. I'm also about 7 to 8 hours into Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's been very good. I've been very impressed. I think the problem I have with those games, though, is the problem that I continue to have where they're so big that I just find that I'm doing random stuff sometimes.
Dude, there's
Like
so
my
many
new
like
favorite
random
thing.
events as you're going down the road. It's like
Yeah,
I just want to get to the quest, man,
I
but I
feel
have
like
to
I
do
gotta
this.
stop and defend everybody. You know what I mean?
Yet you don't want to miss
Um,
that piece of gear in the chest either, and you're like,
I
gotta clear it
know.
out and get it.
Yeah. I do like that and I think they've introduced this into previous Assassin's Creed games, but I went on a hiatus after Black Flag and I didn't really play any of the other ones because once they switched to the RPG, I was just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. And they got very bloated as well. Um, but I like that there's a transmog feature so you can make your gear like look how you want, but get the stats from the other. I really like that they implemented that as well. Also like that if you're talking to an NPC, you can just hold X to follow them. So you don't have to the only thing I wish that they had is I wish that they had, since they have the ability to put the line on the ground to show you where to go for your quest. I wish there was an auto gallop feature for your horse. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I feel like that would be kinda nice. I'm getting lazy at this point, but, like, when you have really long, like, distances, I'd much rather just be able to do that if I can't fast travel somewhere, you know what I mean?
you saying that
Um,
makes me think I know the answer to this question, but how are you listening to that game? Are you going like are you
I have it full immersion dialogue with, like, Japanese
nice?
audio.
Okay,
I
I
I
really thought
started
for sure
off
where you said you were getting lazy that you were gonna say that you were playing in English just so you didn't have to read, but
No, 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 no. I started the first probably 2 hours of the game, and it's nothing against the girl that voices, like, her in English, but, like, it was just hard for me to connect with that character because the audio seems so disconnected from the character, if that makes sense.
yep.
So I was like, I'm just gonna go full immersion. And it's been great. And plus, that culture, I feel like the language always sells me more on the story when it's in their native language. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it very much reminds me of like a Tarantino style revenge story, and it's been pretty good so far.
Have you
Have you?
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, have you killed any of the 11 people yet?
The first one.
Yeah, that I killed the first one. It was the one that you had to like do 3 missions in order to be able to get to.
Yep.
And then like as soon as she does it, she's like, I regret this.
Yeah.
Basically. So I just finished that part last night. But it's been really good. I've really been enjoying it so far. Um I heard a well, not a rumor, but somebody had told me they read that you have to play about 20 hours into the main story before you even go back to playing as the samurai, which I was pretty
Really?
surprised by. Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty surprised by that. So the game is either huge or you don't play very much with him. I don't really know. So,
Yeah. My other question for
what were
you
you
was going to be because I know you were talking about the playing an immersion, and you said Quentin Tarantino revenge flick, which made me think of it as well. So I assume you beat Ghost of Tsushima, correct?
I did not. I haven't actually played that much of it. So
Okay,
I
so
plan on maybe moving to that after this.
I need you to play that, but I think we own the director's cut, so I think it's unlocked right off the rip. I need you to
Oh, okay.
play it in the black and white mode, and if you
Oh
think
yeah,
it,
I think I have the director's cut on PS5 and I played some with like the noir and
yeah,
it looks legit.
dude, it's so
I
sick.
feel like I feel like Ghost of Tsushima is really kind of like a samurai like simulator, whereas like Assassin's Creed is more like an arcade style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm
It's still
super
fun.
excited for the next Ghost. Was it what is it? Ghosts of Yotai?
Yato or something like that.
Something like that. We'd probably just,
Yeah, yeah.
if either of us were anywhere close, we'd probably just butcher it. But I'm excited for it too.
And the fact that like there's a dog, like a wolf in that game is pretty dope too. Not gonna lie. Did you happen to do the side quest for the dog?
I don't think so.
Not in Ghost. I'm talking about in Assassin's Creed. Have you seen
I,
that yet? There's one. You basically get a quest from a dog, and it's to track down the people that killed his owner. And the dog's like been hurt, and they clearly injured him. And the dog only has one eye. It's real sad.
Oh, I'm definitely going out, and I have not found that yet, but I'm definitely going
I
after those
straight
people.
murdered all of them, and it was basically a revenge story for this dog, and it was awesome.
Nice.
Um, I basically had the option of like, do you want to kill them or do you want to let them go? And it's like, I looked at this dog and I was like, these bastards are gonna die.
They're gonna die today.
Because you meet this dog just chilling in his owner's grave. I'm just like, nah, fam, they died. They did. Um,
I wonder if that's a reference to the. There's a famous dog in Japan that there's actually a statue of now. That
oh yeah, yeah. That would just waiting at the train station, just waiting
yeah,
for its owner. Yeah, it's super sad. We don't deserve dogs. I'm just saying that right now.
we definitely don't.
I've also still been playing. My girlfriend's mostly been playing it, but I've actually been playing it in co-op with her occasionally. Is Power Washer Simulator still? We actually got the Shrek DLC, so you can actually power wash some of Shrek environments. The first one was Lord Farquhar's castle. I always want to say
Farquad,
Fartwad. I always want to say
Farquad.
Fartwad. Yeah. Um, but at some point you get to go do Shrek's actual swamp, which sounds pretty awesome.
Does it just
Um,
play? Oh God, who's the band? Uh,
Smash Mouth,
does it just play Smash Mouth the
RIP.
entire time?
Yeah, RIP Smash Mouth. Yeah, but I do want to go back and God, this is so different. Record this late. I can't stop yawning.
Now you're
But
gonna
I
make me
also
yawn.
want to go back. I beat the first 3 chapters of Monster Hunter, and I need to finish the last 3. So I want to go back to that. But Assassin's Creed, unfortunately, has got me by the gonads
It's
currently.
real
So
good. It's real good.
it is.
Have you upgraded her smoke bombs yet?
No, is it the move? The ones that make them
That
last longer?
yeah, it's the move.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
it
I'll go
makes it
back and
you
do
can
that.
you don't have to have like grass or be above them to assassinate them anymore. You can throw a smoke bomb at them and get behind them and assassinate them.
I will tell you my one complaint so far with this game that I've noticed is your grappling hook. Like, there's just certain areas that like it doesn't work and it definitely should. You know
And
what I
it's real
mean?
it's real clunky too, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's like too, the one thing it's like and there may be an ability at some point that allows me to do it, but I want to be able to throw it at enemies and pull them towards me, kind of like Raiden or no, like
Get over
Scorpion.
here.
Yeah, exactly. Like I need that. I want that. Now, I think there's different weapons other than just the sword that you can get, right?
From what I mean, I'm still using swords, but I believe there are. I know that like she has her little like throwing knife things, but I
Yeah, I saw one of the quests grant. I think one of the quests, I haven't done it yet, but I think once you kill them, have you seen the enemies that have the two like little scythes?
yep.
Yeah, I think once you defeat that enemy, I think you get those,
Okay.
which would be pretty cool because I don't know if you noticed or not, but you have 2 weapon slots.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Well,
imagine
I
there'll
mean,
be
I wouldn't mind
something.
just getting like a bow or even one of the muskets, just having like,
Oh yeah, that's true. I haven't other than my throwables, I haven't gotten any other ranged weapons. That'd be cool to have a bow for sure. I would
yeah,
definitely have that as my second weapon.
well, because yeah, like if you're trying to be an assassin, you're trying to be quiet. Oh, now I have a bow and I can kill you from a distance. So
Yeah, it's for sure. But outside of that, that's pretty much all I have been up to. So I know what I'll do is I'll cover this first bit of news and then you can talk to us about Path of Exile and then we'll get into the other stuff. Okay.
sounds good to me.
So all right. So this month, for those of you that have forgot, we get season 2 of The Last of Us, which I'm pretty excited about. Also real nervous about as well. But the stories that I saw was that season 2 will have 7 episodes instead of 9 like the first season did. Um, and I just want to kind of shed some light around why that is. So the reason for the shorter season is the story of the game. They said the directors and the game creator said that the story of the game was too large to fit into one season. So they split it into at least 2 seasons. I'm assuming that is partly true, but I also am assuming that they're using that as a way to stretch out the second game because of a big event that happens at the beginning of the second game. And they probably have to be real creative on how they approach that because people that haven't played the video game, and I think we've mentioned it before, might just peace out after it happens. So
They will lose a lot of people to that one.
I'm assuming they're trying to stretch that out as much as they can and let that big thing happen. And technically, which I still don't know how they would do that because it literally happens an hour into the video game. So I'm very curious how they're going to approach it. And I think we talked about it. Maybe you can do like a flashback and then a flash forward or vice versa or whatever. Um, so that's going to be interesting. Future seasons, the number of the episodes in the future seasons haven't been determined yet, but the creators know the overall story of where it's going to end because obviously there's also not a third game yet. So I'm assuming what they're going to do is try to time it so that if they can stretch out the second game into 2 seasons, that will buy them enough time to come out with The Last of Us 3, maybe, to allow them to continue the show. So Neil Druckmann, which is obviously the game creator, um, he couldn't confirm the number of seasons for The Last of Us until further planning with the writers. So, because obviously, if they can't write what hasn't happened in a third game yet, because if so, nobody's going to really want to play the third game. So I'm willing to bet they're going to want the game to release before they tell that story on screen, is what I'm assuming.
We have
The
a
story
George R. R.
scope,
Martin situation going on.
exactly. The TV series will not exceed the events of the games, potentially leaving room for future seasons to adapt to a possible Last of Us 3. So the thing is the show could technically end after the second game, and it could go on a hiatus until, the third game comes out, and then they could come back because that would also allow the characters to age as well. You know what I mean? But season 2 premieres on April 13th, so it's literally just right around the corner. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then obviously Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are going to be returning as Joe and Ellie. So are you pretty excited for this show?
Yes, I am very excited. I love The Last of Us and seeing what they did with the show because it seemed like they, one, actually cared, but then two, just like being able to see that in a different format for a couple of the different like zombies and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how they handle this next season. And I'm glad that I chose to go back and actually finish the game because I really wanted to do that because like I really enjoyed the first season and seeing how it varied from the game and like being able to like look at the stories that they expanded upon, things like that. So I'm glad I went ahead and played the video game and finally beat it so I could see that. Um yeah, so obviously we played Path of Exile for a while, Path of Exile 2. We spent a lot of time in a lot of time in game in kind of a short amount of time. And then we kind of took a break because obviously it's early access. They're continuing to do updates and stuff like that. But I understand they got an update Friday coming, and it's going to be bringing a lot of stuff, right?
Oh yeah. So I mean, one thing that's kind of disappointing is we're not getting the druid, which I was really hopeful for.
I
But
know.
we are getting a new class with the Huntress, and the Huntress does look insane. The fact that she can steal bosses' abilities for a short period of time is kind of nuts.
Is she melee and also ranged? She does
From
both.
the little bit I've got to see, yes. I'm sure I can find more in the notes around it here, but I don't want to go through all of that. But I mean, we are getting a lot of content. So, whole new class. We are getting one, two, three, four new ascendancies for four of the exist, or three new ascendancies for three of the existing classes, and the Huntress is getting two different ascendancies. 25 new skills, 100 new supports, two new item classes. So we're getting spears and something called bucklers. Over 100 new unique items, eight new in-game maps. Let's see what else here.
Now they're
There's some,
not. It is worth noting they're not adding the last 3 chapters or any more story content. Correct?
not that I've seen. So I've seen that they're
Yeah.
adding more in-game dungeons, but nothing for the story yet. I assume that's going to be one that we're probably going to end up having to wait for until it's actually a 1.0 release.
Yeah. That
One
makes
thing I did
sense.
see is I definitely thought they were just going to wipe our characters, but if I remember seeing it correctly, we are keeping our old characters, but I don't know. It's going to be like one of those Diablo situations where you really want to create a new character because otherwise you're going to miss out on the seasonal content that's coming out for this. Um, but as you were saying, Travis, like we kind of took a break from it, but I am very excited to get back into it. And I'm also off work on Friday, so it's going to be a real fun day for me. As
Oh,
long as I can
nice.
get in
That's
the
good.
servers, as long as the servers are working. But
Well, yeah, that's exciting. I know one of the features that one of our mutual friends, Justin, was talking about is they're adding this thing where one of 6 NPCs can invade your game, and if they beat it, like if you beat their character, like you get to loot their body with whatever type of gear or whatever they're wearing, and there's a chance that they might be wearing like some pretty rare gear. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah. There's like 6 different types, which means obviously different ability. I'm assuming there's one for every class, is what I'm going to assume that means. I don't really know if that's the case. But yeah, I mean, you could be in the middle of questing, running maps, whatever, and one invades your game, and then if you beat it, you get what's on it, which is pretty cool, I think. So,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, so pretty excited about that. That's going to be a pretty big update, and I know they're also like doing an economy reset as well. So I think that will be helpful, as well.
Yeah, because the big thing for we kind of got into the party a little bit late, so it's going to be big for us to be able to kind of now that we know what we're looking for.
Yeah, and I think honestly, like instead of me like just playing through the updates with my existing character, I definitely think I'm just gonna roll a new character because, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, everything's going to get rebalanced, so a bunch of stuff's getting nerfed, a bunch of stuff's getting buffed. They've already said that if you play with an existing character, you're going to miss seasonal content. So,
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not gonna do that. I might start a huntress, or I might use it as an opportunity to start something else.
I mean, I'll definitely play Huntress because if it's anything like it has been before, the new class is always going to be the busted class. So, obviously, I'm going to want a Huntress, but I'll probably play something else as well. The grenade build I had was finally coming together right until I stopped playing. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, well, that's good. I'm excited to dive back into that game. And yeah, I'm gonna be really excited, honestly, when they add new story content too, because I honestly had a really good time playing through the campaign. I thought it was all good what we played so far. Boss fights were good. That last boss fight at chapter 3, where you're basically it felt like a Mega Man boss fight or something like your Doctor Robotnik,
you and
fight.
I
I know
fought
that.
that thing for so long.
I know, dude. It's fine though. We did it. We did it, son.
It took us so long. And
That was before your bill was very good, so you weren't much help.
yeah, I want you to know that when I went back and beat it the second time for cruel difficulty, we were
No
golden.
problem. Yeah,
Golden.
yeah. You also got to hide underneath of him too. We figured that out.
Yeah, until he kills you because he explodes right underneath him. But we found that
Well,
out too.
that knows freaking lasers, man. Freaking lasers. Freaking
Freaking
bats.
lasers,
I freaking
bats.
love bats. Anyways, yeah, that's exciting. So let me go ahead. Did you watch Andor, the show?
I didn't. So here's the reason why: is a lot of those Star Wars shows left a bad taste in my mouth for a lot of different
Wow.
reasons.
I mean, I get
However,
that.
I have heard
Andor
a lot of
was
good things
awesome.
about Andor.
Yes,
I do need to watch
because
it.
it's a prequel to one of the best Star Wars movies ever made. So I'm just telling you right now, what if you listen? If
So
you don't
no,
like Rogue One, if you don't like Rogue One, you can casually f off, buddy.
no, Rogue One is fantastic.
It feels like a
Uh,
war story. It's awesome.
it does, and I think so. Everybody like there's a good bit of people. If you ask them what their favorite Star Wars movie was, they're going to say Episode 5,
Yeah.
and it's just because it's one of those where it's a great movie, but it's not the good guys win per se. And it's
Yes.
kind of the same way as Rogue One was, is where they won, but like
Yeah.
still sad and
It,
depressing because everybody died.
well, that and also like I feel like every Star Wars movie that has come out that hasn't been in the main trio or even show for that matter, they always have to bank and have some sort of IP that everybody knows to tie it in, right? And while yes, Rogue One had obviously a scene that has Vader in it, it's very short. I felt like that movie stood on its own, even if they didn't have that Vader scene. But my God, The last part of that movie where Vader is like invading the ship is terrifying.
So, funny thing, that scene, anytime somebody, like I'm talking to somebody about the Phillips Hue lights, that's what I immediately pull up and show them is that scene where Vader's coming down the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. And it's like he's not in it for very long, but it's like very impactful. You know what I
And
mean? Like,
like you were saying too, it's one of those things he could have like that one. I'm glad that scene was there. Don't think I'm saying it shouldn't have been because it's one of my favorite scenes out of Star Wars. But that movie didn't need it per se.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like it could have stood on its own without it, because we all know what happens after. But, I think it also like just proves a point of how strong Vader was. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's hard to see that in the original movie. You know what I mean? Like if you compare that scene in Rogue One, Vader, and going back and actually watching like the original and like Vader, like two totally stark characters. They're
yeah.
different. You know what I mean? But yeah, Rogue One's awesome. But anyways, so Andor season 2 trailer dropped, and it and the reason I brought that up is based off the trailer and what some people saw, some fans are convinced there might be a Vader cameo. In the latest trailer of Andor season 2, they saw there is a moment where Lieutenant Miro looks to be getting force choked um, by Daddy Vader, possibly. Who knows? I don't know. But others aren't necessarily convinced and thinks that he may just be having a panic attack. I really hope that there isn't a Vader cameo just based on the reasons literally that we just said. I don't think they need it. But I always get concerned because like I feel like they always have to throw somebody in there that everybody knows. It's like whether it's Yoda, whether it's Luke, whatever it may be. I mean, even like Mandalorian, right? Like
That's what I was about
has
to
this whole
say.
yeah, like I just hate that they always feel like they have to do that to tie it in or make it canon or whatever. So I really hope they don't, because I feel like if they do it here, it almost lessens or cheapens his appearance in Rogue One. You know what I mean? So we'll
Yeah,
see. I don't know. But yeah, Andor is very good because I always feel like the movie and the first season of the show feels like a heist movie. You know what I mean? It's like a heist slash war movie, and season 1 is really good. So if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go back and watch it. And if you don't,
okay.
then I guess
Me,
I'll just casually go screw myself.
let me add it to my list.
Yeah. But you should definitely watch Paradise before you watch that. I'm telling you right now. If you don't
Gotcha.
come back to me at the if you don't come back to me at the end of Paradise and be like, that's one of the best shows I've seen in a long time, then you're an idiot. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Because I know what type of movies you like or shows, and I think it's right up your alley. I'm just saying it right now.
Gotcha.
All right.
Also, speaking of Star Wars, before we move on, are you going to see Episode 3 in theaters again, Travis?
When is that again?
25th.
Yeah, I probably will. I mean, definitely. Is it 20 years?
20 years.
Man, that is hard to believe, bro. I feel super old now.
Yeah,
It's hard to
it's
think I was 21 when that movie came out. That
I
seems not right.
out of the prequels, that is my favorite prequel. Well,
That fight
actually,
between him and Anakin at the end is so good.
mm-hmm.
It's
And
so good.
the fact it comes out on a Friday and I'm off work that day and I want to be able to go see that movie in theaters, I am so
You
happy.
want to go see it together, but separately? We'll just FaceTime while the movie's happening.
And then talk as loud as we can so that way we can make sure
Yeah, I'll
that
turn
not
up my
only
screen
we can.
brightness so you can see me too.
Oh, good call. I'm gonna bring like a flashlight and put it on the floor and point it at me.
Yeah, that sounds like real people, because they have no respect for what a movie theater should be. And
Don't be those people.
yeah, don't be those people. But yes, I'm glad you reminded me. I actually need to put it on my calendar.
Yes, you do.
All right. Yeah, so let's talk about real quick. So today, as of April 2nd, Nintendo had their direct, which revealed a lot more details around the Switch 2. Are you a Switch fan? Do you play Switch games? Do you own a Switch? Like,
I own a Switch. I do not play a lot on it though. It's mostly
no.
Magic Switch though.
Yeah, me neither. I think it's hard for me to go back and want to play it because I feel like every time I like pick up the Switch, I'm like, God, this just feels so dated. You know what I mean?
It feels like and the thing is too like there's not I mean, aside from, I mean, the only game I really play on there is Pokemon because at the end of the day, like if there's any game that I have the option of playing that on my Switch, my PlayStation, or my PC, I'm
Yeah,
probably gonna pick this PlayStation or the PC most of the time.
for
Especially
sure.
now that I have
Yeah,
a Portal. So
yeah, that's true. I'm surprised you kept it. I'm surprised you didn't return it.
yeah, thanks.
All right. So, Switch 2 price. So they released information about the price and also release date. So the Switch 2 will be released on June 5th, which is right around the corner, honestly. The console itself is going to be 450. And then if you want the bundle that comes with Mario Kart, you can get that for 499. So you get a little bit of a discount if you buy the bundle. Now, from what I saw, I don't know if you saw the Mario Kart trailer at all. I don't know if you watched it at all,
I have
but
not.
essentially, Mario Kart is now like a Forza Horizon where you can drive around in an open world. So like you could finish a race and then immediately like drive to where the next race is.
Remember how a couple weeks ago when we talked about if everything needed to be open world or not?
Yeah,
Pepperidge
they
Farm
evidently.
remembers.
Yeah, so it's Mario Kart World is what it's called. Um and it will be arriving as a launch title. Yeah, it says this version's twist the weather, so there's weather changes. There's off-roading, which is highly encouraged. And you can keep on driving to the next course. Packing in 24 racers in each race makes this the most open world experience in any Mario Kart. And there's a promise of tons of social multiplayer modes. So there's that. So that's one announcement.
There's
The
that.
other is they're finally in the 21st century. They're finally adding game chat. So let's give it up. Let's give it up for Nintendo. There's actually a dedicated button now for game chat on your controller, believe it or not. The Switch 2 has built-in microphones. It has a microphone built into the console itself versus the controller. But Nintendo promises that even if your bro is blending a protein shake in the same room, noise canceling tech makes it no problem to keep talking without a headset. Not sure how that works. So
Yeah,
does that mean if you're so my question is if your console's docked and you want to play multiplayer, how's that work? Nintendo emphasized that the use of parental controls in order to contrast itself to the wild west of Discord. Uh, but the big reveal turns out that the Switch 2's mysterious C button launches game chat, is what it is. They honestly need to integrate Discord. I mean, it's already on PlayStation, it's on Xbox, it's obviously on PC. I just don't know why it wouldn't have Discord. That's kind of stupid.
and that's the thing, especially with everything being cross-play the way it is now. There just needs to be one uniform. Like this is how you communicate, unless you're using like
Yeah,
dedicated game chat on a game.
correct. Nintendo is also reinventing Zoom. They announced that there's also going to be a Switch 2 camera. They're giving us the thing that nobody asked for. That people will also buy because it's Nintendo. While you can play your games and talk to your buds using game chat, the new camera accessory arriving at launch can give your multiplayer sessions a video call s twist. Nobody wants that.
Can't wait for that
Nobody wants that.
240p camera hooked up to my Switch.
I know. Hitting my low light, playing with no lights on, it's gonna look great.
Ooh, maybe I swap out my webcam, Travis, and find a way to hook up the Nintendo cam to it.
Yeah.
Just run everything through
Uh,
there. I'm sure it would look so much better.
yeah. There is a really cool ability I think that they released. I think it's cool. They have local play via game share. So while the Switch allowed for local play on one console using two Joy Cons, the Switch 2's game share function will allow pals to play each other in local setting using a single shared game, even if a friend doesn't own a copy. To
That's
say
a
we're
good move.
like yeah, so say we're hanging out, I have the new Mario Kart, you don't. We could still play locally together even if you don't have a copy, which is pretty
Good.
cool.
You know what? Round of applause for Nintendo on that one, not
Yeah,
being
yeah.
greedy with it.
However,
Oh,
we
here it
go
is.
from
Yep.
that to the next story. So Nintendo Switch 2 welcome tour. So you remember when the PS4 or PS5? You remember Astro's Playroom? I think it was PS5. Yeah, Astro's
Yep.
Playroom came out. And there was like that free little platform. It was before it was Astro's Astrobot,
Astrobot.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Astro's Playroom allowed you basically you were inside of a PlayStation exploring it, and then like it would show off like the haptics and the game controller and all that type of stuff, right? Free, very cool. Ended up making a platformer standalone that they sold that did really well. I think it won. Did it win Game of the Year? I
Yes,
can't
I believe
remember.
so.
Yeah. Well, Nintendo's doing that basically, which is great. Like great news, right? Uh, it's basically
But
a technology tour packed into the Switch 2. So they decided to make an entire game that allows players to learn about the experiment with various features. In the Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which feels like Astro's Playroom on PS5, it puts players in charge of a little guy running and exploring a giant version of the console, as well as playing mini games that take advantage of the Joy-Con 2's motion controllers. The downside is they want you to pay for it. There it is. Nintendo going to Nintendo. They also each Joy-Con has the ability to be a mouse as well. So you can lay it face down and you can do mouse controls. So
that
there's that.
that what that makes up for them, making me pay for a tech demo
Yeah.
basically. It
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
doesn't. It doesn't.
That was
That's ridiculous.
sarcasm.
I will say the best like intro tech demo I think I've seen on anything I've set up so far, the Quest 2 setup
Oh,
demo.
when you're inside that little RV thing,
Yes, and then like it puts you like you just drop down in the grass and all of a sudden there's whales swimming around you. Like, dude, it's insane.
I wonder did they have a new version of that for like the Quest 3?
I still have my Quest 2, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, they also have motion and voice mini games upgraded if you own Super Mario Party Jamboree, which is cool. It's also gonna be backwards compatible with Switch 1 games, so that's great. And if you already own, Mario Party Jamboree, it'll just be a free upgrade to current owners. They're also releasing, enhanced, Zelda games. So Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will also get enhanced versions for the Switch 2, boasting upgraded graphics and HDR support, plus a GPS-like Nintendo app integration that can direct you to hidden, the Kuroku seeds. The Tears of the Kingdom specific add-on lets friends share device builds via QR code in the Nintendo app. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Also, I forgot to mention 1080p screen, no OLED, even though there's OLED in Switch 1, Nintendo going to Nintendo. So that way they can come out with a Switch 2 OLED, obviously, at some point, like 5 years down the road. However, one thing that surprised me, 120 hertz refresh rate on the Switch. And the dock outputs in 4K, which is cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the dock also now has a fan built in to keep your console cool as
Kind of
well.
makes me wonder if they did like some research and found a lot more people are playing connected to a TV versus handheld, and that's why they decided to do
Possibly.
the.
Yeah, and I also don't know if maybe an OLED would have been more drain on the battery, or if they couldn't achieve, which I wouldn't think be the case, but maybe they couldn't achieve 120 hertz with an OLED display, possibly.
Well, 120 OLED shouldn't affect your because it's not your resolution; it's your just the type of
It's
panel you're using.
pixels. Yeah, I would have thought an OLED would have improved battery life, having the
That's what I
ability
was
to
going to
turn off.
say too. I wonder if. Hold on, now I'm curious.
They're also releasing Drag X Drive, which is a basketball game where you play in a wheelchair. Yes, Nintendo did a murder ball, essentially, is what it's called.
Yes, OLED panels are generally more energy efficient than LCD panels, especially when displaying darker images, as they can turn pixels off and save power.
What I'm gonna assume is gonna happen is with the next Switch 2, when they do OLED, they're gonna also up the resolution, I bet, on the actual console itself. I bet.
Because it's
They'll be like,
1080 right
"Oh,
now.
OLED with." Yeah, it's 1080,
OLED
and if the
1440.
dock can output out in 4K, they might say, okay, well, here's an OLED, but it's going to output in 2K on the console itself. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So
Which I mean,
there's
the
also
thing is, like, you don't need 4K on a screen that's that small either. Like
right,
2K would look pretty good.
perfect. Yeah. Also a buttload of third-party games. So for those of you that missed out on Elden Ring, that's coming to Switch too. Hogwarts Legacy, which probably will look a lot better than the current Switch port, I imagine. Split Fiction will be there, Hades 2, Street Fighter 6, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, Hitman World of Assassins, and Cyberpunk 2077, surprisingly. Don't think it'll probably run 120 hertz though, but we'll see.
Cyberpunk on the Switch 2 is going to be insane.
Yeah, we'll see.
Travis, your
And
camera is
many
frozen
more.
and you're creepily staring at the bottom. Oh, and he's gone.
I'm gone.
Oh, your internet's gone. Apparently. Oh, your internet's back.
That's weird. Do you not see me?
You're there. You're just frozen.
Oh, weird. I look fine on my end, so I'm just gonna go with it. So we'll see.
You're
Anyways.
roboting as well as the other problem.
Oh no. I don't know what's happening.
Give me an auto tune, Travis. Just give me an oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
Is that good? I hope so. It's what's gonna be good is if the audio is fine on my end. That's gonna be the problem. But anyways, can you hear me now or no?
It's better than it was.
Okay. Well, here let me try this. Hold on.
Oh,
I
you're
don't know if I'm
back.
back.
Welcome
Am I
back.
back?
You're back, and you're frozen again. But we'll go with it. We're fine. Oh, you're back again.
Weird. Anyways, maybe it's your internet. Okay. Anyways, so they're also gonna have a number of games. Oh, they're gonna bring a Civ 7 also, and it's gonna implement the mouse features as well, which is pretty cool.
I
Which
mean
doesn't
that
seem necessary since you said Civ 7 seems to be built more for console,
you
anyways.
beat me to it. I was about to say it. I was about to say, oh, what a waste. Too bad it seems like it's built for Switch, anyways.
Yeah, they're also going to do a Hyrule Warriors Age of an Imprisonment, which is kind of like those hack and slash games. The thing that they announced that I think I'm the most excited about versus some of the console enhancements myself is they're bringing GameCube games to the Nintendo Switch Online feature. So you'll be able to play Legends of Zelda Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero GX, and some other ones as well. They're also going to have multiplayer modes for some of those old games as well. And it will also support the game chat feature while playing some of those old games. The only thing I'm curious of is because the current library of games they have, like Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, all that stuff, I think those actually stream like over the internet. I don't think you can locally download those. I don't think. So I'm curious to know how the GameCube is going to handle those because I can't imagine you're going to stream like those games over online, but maybe so. But the game I want, like, I'm very excited for Wind Waker, but I really want them, which it's not a Nintendo game, it's a Konami game, but I would really like to see them bring Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, because it was on GameCube. I would love to see them bring that back. Um, so we'll see. There's also a From Software's game that's an exclusive called The Dust Bloods. So people were thinking maybe the new Elden Ring game would be there, or maybe Bloodborne. But this is a standalone FromSoft title that is exclusive to the Switch, which I think is a big get. Honestly, you know what I mean? I think that's a good get for them. But it's going to launch sometime in 2026. We also got Kirby Air Riders, which I don't know if you're a Kirby fan. I'm not a huge Kirby fan, so I could really care less. And then Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is going to be a platformer as well. It's reintroduction to this of Donkey Kong since obviously he was in the Super Mario Brothers movie, so he's gotten some resurgence. And then I also think that they talked a little bit about Metroid Prime 4 as well, but I'm not sure how much details they gave on that. So overall, are you pretty excited about the Switch, or could you honestly care less?
I'm honestly pretty indifferent. Like I'll probably keep my Switch OLED until they eventually do the release a new Pokemon game that I really want to play, and it's like, oh, it's only available on the Switch too.
Yeah,
Excuse
true.
me. Sorry.
All right. That's all right, man. We're rounding the corner now, baby. So
Burning the
let's
midnight oil tonight on this episode.
I know. Let's go ahead and talk about. So that does it for news. Is there anything else you need to add or want to add?
No, I think that about wraps it up on the news portion.
Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about what we are looking forward to. So, what do you got coming up that you're excited about?
Last of Us season 2, obviously, very
Yep.
excited for that. I want to finish solo leveling because I haven't finished it yet, and season 2 just ended, and I have to finish it before someone at work, TikTok, other social media platforms, either on purpose or inadvertently ruins it for me, which would really suck. And then getting to play some more Assassin's Creed, and which these kind of to rat on Travis and myself, but these notes were also our notes from last week whenever we had some scheduling conflicts. So one thing that I'm now going to say this week is that I'm also very excited for the Path of Exile update.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. And you're off, you said that day, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming that's what you plan on doing that day.
Correct. I will be on my computer as soon as it launches. A DoorDash will be delivering lunch to my house, so
Hopefully, Chinese food, baby. Anyways,
it's kind of hard to eat
no,
while
you
you're
don't.
gaming. So,
Yeah, you don't want to shit your pants while you're gaming either. I don't blame you.
Ma, where's the bucket?
That's right. Mom, meatloaf. So first and foremost, the thing I'm most excited about, not you thought you were gonna get through a whole episode without hearing about my ear saga. You're absolutely wrong. So April 8th, I am there is a gel foam packing that is still inside my ear. April 8th, that comes out. So hopefully once that comes out, I'll be able to hear better out of this here. So very much looking forward to that. And then family vacation is coming up the 21st through the 25th. I'll be with my family in Gatlinburg, so pretty excited about that. And then Jared, I don't know if you've heard of this game or not, and it actually came out today. But you're a big World of Tanks fan, yeah?
War Thunder more so than World of Tanks.
But they're made by the same people, though, right?
No.
They're not. Okay. Well,
No,
anyways.
well, War Thunder makes World of Tanks, World of Ships, and World of Warplanes. War Thunder is made by a company called Gaijin.
Okay. Well, my bad. I apologize. Anyways, I've never played those free to play games. I could care less about them. However, I
Wow.
saw this company is releasing a game today in early access. It's free to play called Steel Hunter. And it looks like a hero shooter, but you're Transformers essentially.
What?
So you can transform into vehicles and also out of vehicle form, and it looks pretty cool. It's a competitive multiplayer,
Oh my
and it
god,
looks
this looks
dope.
sick.
I know it came out. It came out today, actually. I saw it last week. I was like, oh, I'll put that on my wish list, and then I looked today. I was like, oh shit, that came out today. So I'm gonna try to download it. But it looks pretty dope. Not gonna lie. You adding it to your Steam right now? I bet you are.
Maybe.
Maybe. But anyways, excited to try that out. Also excited for Andor season 2 and also The Last of Us season 2. And then also, I really am sad I'm gonna have to wait for Paradise season 2 because like I'm really sad because it's at least gonna be probably a year. But yeah, you definitely need to watch that within the next week if you can fit it in. Because I'd love to hear your thoughts. At least
See
watch
what
the
I can
first
do.
episode and tell me what you think.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I'll try to pin it in on my schedule.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into picks of the week. And I feel like based on how we talked about two things, it's probably going to be no surprise. But what is your pick of the week, Jensen?
Pick of the week for me is by far solo leveling. And again, like I can't explain what it's about or really anything like that because a lot happens in the first episode. And I feel like if I say anything about it, then it's going to kind of give some of it away. But just give it a chance. It's really good. Trust me. That's pretty much all I could say about it, but it is very good.
I feel like I'm going to say the same thing about Paradise because that is my pick of the week. I I heard a lot of good things about it, but have you ever just like heard good things about a show or about a product or whatever, and you tried it out and you're like, it's just not for me. You know what I mean? I really thought that's how this was going to go. I was like, maybe this show is just overhyped and it's not good. Well, after the first episode, I was like, I just got to know. I got to know what is happening, what is going on, who is pulling the strings. And plus, the cast is phenomenal. I mean, James Marston as as the president is a very interesting pick, but very good. Um, I'm just used to seeing him as the sheriff in Sonic the Hedgehog. It's really interesting, or Cyclops. But to see him as the president, he kind of plays like he's got Reagan vibes, which is very interesting. And then Sterling K. Brown does a great job as like the Secret Service agent. But yeah, just
Secret
overall really good
agent
show.
man.
I know, Secret Agent Man. But yeah, so that's my pick of the week. If you have not watched Paradise, I would highly recommend it. It's 8 episodes, it's a tight 8 episodes, 50-minute episodes, and it's just really good. Just really, really good. I would probably compare it to like a Silo, even Lost kinda. But you're just not on an island. You're not on an island, so don't worry about that. Um, all right. Well, anything else to add before we close out, good sir?
Believe that's all for me.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for listening to another episode of Nerds with Mics. It's episode 175. If you're listening or watching, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and leave us a review, leave us comments. We would love to hear from you about future content you'd like to see, any comments that you have about the content that we talked about tonight. And more importantly, share us with them friends. Get us in your friends' ear holes or their eye holes, regardless of how they
Or
choose to
both.
consume content, or both. It doesn't hurt to have both. Um, I think that does it for us on this episode. So let's go ahead and peace out. Love you all. And until next time, peace. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Nerds with Mics. If you enjoyed today's deep dive into all things nerdy, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please make sure not to forget to leave us a review wherever you listen or watch. Your feedback always helps us grow. And if you know a fellow nerd that would love the show, share it with them. Until next time, stay nerdy, stay awesome, and keep those mics on.